The only teacher I invited to my doctoral graduation was my kindergarten teacher. That was the last class I enjoyed. As a college professor, I'm always asked, why'd you go to college if you always hated school? That's easy. Shortly before my dad died, he told me that I was going to college. You could say it was my dad's dying wish. Well, then, why did I hate school? There are several pieces to this answer. At first, it was family pressure. I grew up with incredibly smart siblings. As the oldest, I was expected to set the example. That never seemed to happen. My siblings put lots of academic pressure on me to perform better. My brother is a Mensa genius who couldn't get a bad grade in school if he tried. My super smart sister was sent to special schools for the gifted. My speed reading little brother could read more than 20 times faster than me before he was even a teenager. By contrast, school was never easy for me. My unique learning styles didn't work well in schools. In high school, I was the conference chess champion, but couldn't get good grades to save my life. In college, I beat the University of Michigan's top chess player in a 7-hour match, but was put on academic probation. How is this possible? Eventually, I put in over 11,000 hours of research on how to learn. Using the system I developed, I was finally able to get solid A's in school. I never had one of those great teachers I saw in the movies. In fact, I was so sure that this was the answer to why I hated school, I decided I needed to help fix this problem. I got a PhD major in curriculum and instruction and a PhD minor in educational psychology from top-ranked programs. I studied the great teachers. I visited their classrooms. I interviewed them. I volunteered at the National Teachers Hall of Fame and learned everything I could. I used these ideas in my own classrooms as I taught every grade level from first grade through graduate school. In this analysis of teachers, I always thought my first grade teacher must have done something to me. I have incredibly vivid memories of my kindergarten classroom. For some reason, I have no memories from first grade. I can remember walking up to the first grade door, but there are no other memories. It's like a black hole. There is pain behind that door, but I could never articulate it. Not until I talked to someone who was going to visit a former first grade teacher from my old school. When she asked if I knew this teacher, I said no. However, when her name was mentioned, I had an eerie feeling and my hair stood up. She continued, "You would not have wanted her for first grade. She was incredibly strict, very mean. She used to be a real witch." After our phone conversation, I dug through my archives. I almost fell over when I found my first grade report card. I shivered as I saw that I did have that teacher. At first, I did not remember her name. Sadly, she was the first teacher I had after leaving my great kindergarten classroom. In an effort to get to the bottom of this, I went to an EMDR counselor to unlock my repressed memories. The counselor had me close my eyes and think of the door of the first grade classroom while she slowly tapped on my knees. Slowly she tapped in rhythm while I focused on the classroom door. All of a sudden, a memory came flashing into my brain. Immediately, I'm confused because I'm in the bathroom at the school. This is the bathroom I would have used in second grade, not first grade. Why am I here? Then I see my friend. He is crying uncontrollably. He can't stop crying. But my thought is not about him. It's about me. Why am I not crying? I should be crying. Why can't I cry? What's wrong with me? Then I remember. He's crying because minutes earlier, we were walking with Michael to school. 1 block away from school, right as the light turned green, Michael was the first of us to step out to cross the street. He was instantly hit by a city bus. Adults at the scene quickly pushed us across the street and told us to walk the last block to school. We wanted to wait for Michael, Was he okay? Nobody talked about it. I never got to talk about this tragedy with anyone, so I had to process it on my own. I remember being angry with the principal. He said too many kids were waiting until the light turned yellow to run across the street. When the light turns green, get across the street. In my mind, Michael tried to do just that. He was killed for following directions. I also remember being upset with myself for not crying. What's wrong with me? I have vivid memories of looking out the barred windows of our school and thinking I was in a prison. I continually told myself that school was a prison. I likely started thinking this when I went from the greatest classroom of my life to my worst class. This thought was reinforced a year later when my friend was tragically killed. At that time, my parents were discussing whether my younger Mensa brother would skip 2 grades and join me in 3rd grade next year, or just skip 1 grade. I didn't think it was fair that he was going to get through prison faster than me.